So I get asked all the time that if I could take my experience and where I am in my journey as a flight instructor, wipe away my logbooks, go back and start over, would I do anything different? And what would I do different if I would? Well, we're going to talk about that today. So let's get into it. Alright, so if I can go back and do anything over again, start fresh, but keep all of the knowledge that I have now, would I do it? And well, the answer is yes. Flight training is a ton of fun. But what would I do different? So here are some of the things I would do different. And I know I've talked about some of these before, but there's going to be a new thing in here also. So first off is if I could, I'd buy an airplane and I'd train in my own airplane. Then I'd have it for time building. I'd be able to sell it at the end, get my money back. We've talked about all that before. There's videos on my channel kind of digging into that. So let's take a little bit of a different look at it, and let's look at it from the flight school perspective. Would I go to a different flight school than what I did? Where would I go? What would that look like? First off, come fly with me. Come to my flight school. But no, I'm just kidding. So if I'm going back and I'm being a student again, and I'm going to start by saying I'm going to do my flight training all over again, I would still stay right here in Orlando. The weather is great. There's lots of opportunities. It's really cool getting to fly to the Gulf Coast and the Atlantic Coast all in the same flight. And there's different opportunities. You get to fly over Disney and Universal, and Miami's just a little short flight away. Tallahassee's just a short flight away. So, I mean, you can cover a lot of ground and see a lot of cool stuff flying here from Central Florida. So, I would stay here in Central Florida. With that said, I'm not going to bash anybody or anything like that. There's a ton of great flight schools here in the area, and they're all going to fit different needs in the way that they fit together, and the way that they fit what you're looking for. I went to a Part 141 flight school, and I did the accelerated program. If I was starting back over again, I might still do the 141 just because you need less hours to do things. I already did my private instrument and commercial all in minimum hours at a 141 program, which means that I was done by 200 total hours, and I was already getting my CFI at 200 total hours instead of finishing up commercial at 250 hours. So I would still do the 141 program just because I picked it up quickly and I was able to do things in minimum hours. Although I would kind of slow down. I wouldn't rush as much as I did because, I mean, especially with the industry and where it is right now, there's nowhere to rush to get to. Nobody's hiring, nothing's going on, so you got nowhere to go. So take your time, be safe, learn to be a safe and competent pilot, which is what I preach all the time. But, I mean, there's Part 61 schools, there's Part 140 schools. I joke all the time that here in Orlando, if you see a Starbucks, there's a flight school right next door. It's just how many flight schools are here in Orlando. They're literally everywhere. So I would say I wouldn't go back to the school that I did almost all of my training at. And it's not because it's a bad school. I mean, I like the school. I'm happy with most of the stuff that came out of there. Yes, I came out with a lot of holes in my training. Partially the school's fault, mostly my fault. It's just the way that they work. They teach to the check ride. I could have asked for better training. I could have asked for more training, deeper level training, and paid for it. But I didn't because I didn't really know at the time. And we're using the knowledge that I have now, so I would ask for that now. But again, there's schools all over the area. But I'm going to talk about one school specifically today, and I'm going to explain why I would choose this school. So the school that I would choose to go and do all of my training at today, and I'm sorry for any of the other schools that I'm not about to mention right now. I do have a lot of friends that are owners and chief pilots and all over the city, all over the area here. I have lots of friends with a lot of people, and I'm sure this video is going to upset a lot of them. But if I was going back and I was going to do all of my flight training all over from zero to hero or whatever you want to call it today, I would go to Sun Air Aviation at Leesburg Airport. And we're going to talk a little bit about why here. Again, it's nothing against any of the other schools. There's tons of great schools here in the area. And I know everyone else is going to be mad at me for saying this. But my reasons for going to Sun Air is so many things. I mean, there's like the typical things you'll hear talking to a school. Instructor availability, airplane availability, type of aircraft, recency or newness of the aircraft. Yeah, all those things. Every school talks about the exact same things. Everybody likes to talk about their culture and they can't define it and all these things. It's literally, every school pretty much operates off the same marketing sheet, and they all talk about that same stuff. So let's dig into some of the reasons why I would choose Sun Air Aviation above everyone else that reads from that same script. The first is that if you look at their schedule today, and I'm not going to show it because it's not information that I have permission to kind of share. Right now, they have more airplanes than they do instructors. I believe they're down to like 5 or 6 instructors because some people have moved on. They got that professional job and stuff like that. But I like that it's a small school, I guess we can say. It's not a school that's got 30 CFIs and 400 students or any of that. I feel with the smaller school that they are, I'm going to get more kind of individualized and personalized training. So for me, that's really big. And then also, too, when you have a smaller school like that, obviously you're going to have more opportunities to fly. You're not going to be competing against 400 other students for 5 airplanes or whatever it is to get your time in it and get yourself through. They have plenty of aircraft. You'll be able to get your time, get your dates to go and do what it is you need to do for whatever rating it is you're training. So I really like that. I like that small school feel. But also, too, at the same time, it's still a 141 school. They have their 141 tickets, so you can kind of go as fast or as slow as you want. I believe they also do Part 61 training within there, so you can pick and choose the way you do things. But again, that small school feel is what matters most to me with having the information that I have now and where I am within my ratings. They have a newer fleet. I don't want to say it's brand new because it's not brand new, but it's definitely newer. They got some G1000 172s and stuff like that. So it's definitely newer on the technology side and recency as far as age goes. It is the FBO on the field, so they're taking care of everything, including their own airplanes. So again, maintenance, all that stuff it's another good check on that checklist of finding that right school that you want to go to. Some other stuff that they offer that some other schools in the area don't, that would entice me to go there, is they do seaplane ratings there. They have a Husky on floats. So I could do all of my training there, and then I can get my seaplane at some point, staying right there with the same instructors at the same school. I don't have to go somewhere else. Another big one that you can do there that you can't really do at any other flight school is you can get your complex endorsement for retract gear and stuff like that. So most schools, you're going to get that when you're doing your multi-training, because the multi-engine airplanes are going to have the retract gear. And that's all well and good, but what if you don't want to go for your multi right now, or you don't want to spend that big money to go and just get your multi done and get your complex endorsement and all that stuff wrapped up in one? You just want to go and buy a Mooney for yourself, and they require Retract gear, they require your insurance company or whatever requires a complex endorsement as part of it before they'll even insure you for it. Well, they have a Piper Arrow. You can go up in the Piper Arrow, do whatever it is they want. I imagine it's just a few short hours, probably a couple landings. I don't know because I don't have it at this point, but they have a Piper Arrow there, which is a single engine airplane with retract gear. It's got the constant speed prop, so you can get your complex endorsement right then and there cheaper, because it's cheaper to fly a single engine airplane than it is a multi-engine airplane, and you can get all of that done. You don't have to worry about doing the multi add-on until you're ready for it. So again, all of that is right there in-house. The only thing they're missing is a tailwheel airplane. There you go, Nick. There's your next idea. If you don't know, Nick is the chief pilot over there at Sun Air. But again, they got a really well put together operation there. I'm really happy with it. They have the ability to do your written exams. I've actually taken several of my written exams at Sun Air Aviation in Leesburg. So they have all. It's basically a one-stop shop for everything you could need. Which is really nice. And it's not just everything you could need, it's everything you can want also. Again, minus the tail wheel, but I'll push Nick on that. Maybe someday he'll go and he'll get the tail wheel there. Or just take the Husky off the floats. Who knows? The only downside that I would say to Sun Air, and it's not really a downside, I guess, to say, because if they had it right or they did it, they would be a bigger school, and that would kind of push me away if I was starting over, is I don't really see any marketing from them. You never really see any type of marketing out there anywhere from the school. Most people don't even know they exist unless you've gone to Leesburg or you're from the Leesburg area. Again, they're not out there running Facebook ads or Google ads, or maybe they are and I just haven't seen them. But I've talked to other people and nobody's really ever seen any advertising from them. So I think that's something that if they wanted to grow the school, they can kind of really get into, or start doing like videos and stuff like this to kind of really put their name out there. But I think if they did that, then it's going to get to that point where they're going to start to become that really big school, because they got a lot of great things to offer and people are going to flock there. And if you end up going over to Sun Air for any of your training, drop my name when you go in there. Let Nick know that I sent you. He's a really good dude. He's from Pennsylvania like me. He's from the west side of the state. I'm from the east side of the state. We don't really like each other, but we're Pennsylvanians at the end of the day, so we always got each other's back against everyone else. But I won't fault him for that, just like he won't fault me for being from the east side of the state. He's a really good dude. I got some really great instructors in there too. But again, like if I had to say a bad thing about the school, it's they don't do enough advertising to show off what they got, because I think they could be a much bigger, better school than they are. But again, I really like that small school feel and vibe that they give out there. Another thing that I forgot to mention that they offer there is they have a Redbird simulator. So if you're going to go and you're going to do your instrument training, it's a great spot to go, because you can use the simulator for a bunch of your hours towards your instrument rating. It's significantly cheaper to sit in the simulator than it is in the airplane, because we can go through and, like, I just had to go and do my instrument currency and what it's called is 6 hits. So you have to do like 6 approaches with the hold and all these different things. It took me an hour and a half sitting in the sim to go through and get everything I needed to get instrument current again through the 6 hits. It would have taken several hours in an airplane, because if I shoot an approach in a sim, once I come down and I finish that approach out, the flight instructor that I'm working with can then just go and reset the sim and set me up to come in and do another approach. Whereas if I'm in an airplane, I gotta fly all the way out. I have to get revectored back around or go wherever it is. So there's a bunch of lag time when you're in the airplane doing it versus sitting in a sim. And again, the sims are significantly cheaper to train in than the actual airplane. And you can use, again, a lot of time in the sims towards your instrument rating. I know I did a bunch of it in the sim when I was doing my instrument rating. Now when I do my 6 hits for instrument currency, I do it in a sim, Why? Because it's significantly cheaper. It would probably cost me, with the instructor and the airplane rental and stuff like that, close to $1,000, if not a little bit more, to go out and do 6 hits in the airplane. Whereas I can go into the sim for an hour and a half, 2 hours, take my time, and it's probably going to run me $350, depending on what the school decides to charge for the instructor and for use of the simulator. So it's a significant savings that makes it worth it for everyone. But again, I just wanted to talk on the flight school side today. So again, if you're looking for somewhere to go and you wanted my advice that's not coming to fly with me, which I would much prefer you do, but if you're looking for that flight school out there that I would go to if I couldn't teach myself, it would be Sun Air Aviation at Leesburg. So go ahead, check them out, let them know I sent you, and I'll see you on the next video.